Quick Diz News is part of the Quick Diz Takes family of podcasts.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Hello, I'm Michael Eisner.
Oh boy! What's up, guys, and welcome to the Quick Diz News, episode number 11. I am your host, Tim LeBeau, alongside, as usual, Mr. John Castano.
Hello.
And Mrs. Sarah Castano.
Hey, howdy, hey.
Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. We really appreciate the support. And without further ado, because we have a ton of news this evening, let's get right into quick mentions.
First up on our quick mentions, the Disney College program has made the decision to house participants by their vaccination status. According to emails sent out to Disney College program participants, they are requiring participants to indicate the status of their vaccinations by the time their program begins. While vaccination status does not impact their hiring status, participants will not be able to select a roommate unless they are fully vaccinated by the time they arrive. If a participant is not vaccinated, they will be placed with other unvaccinated individuals based on their floor plan type. So vaccinated with vaccinated, unvaccinated with unvaccinated. At this point, they are aiming for a mid-June restart of the program and are not implementing any vaccination status checks for guests attending their parks, resorts, or the Springs shopping areas.
So I find it a bit interesting that they're going to hoard the people into these dorms based upon their decisions they have made in their own personal lives. I get it.
Mm.
I don't want to say too much about it because it just goes down a rabbit hole, but it is kind of strange that these are the times that we are living in.
I'm actually surprised that Disney, well, I guess I'm not surprised that Disney is not requiring people to be fully vaccinated to participate. I get why they're not. I'm just a little bit surprised that they aren't.
So
Are they going to be placed by vaccination as well? Aren't they, if an unvaccinated person can work with a vaccinated person? I mean, in that sense, what's the difference? Just because you're not living together, you're still working together.
Right.
And then it's like when you're in the park, once they pull most of the restrictions down, are you getting so you pretty much can look around and say, well, that guy with the mask over there is obviously not vaccinated, but this guy without the mask over here is vaccinated. Does it put
I would say I'm wondering if it's an exposure issue. So if you are vaccinated, you can still be a carrier, but you are less likely to catch it, but you can still carry it. So if you are exposed to it and you can carry it, you go home to a vaccinated roommate who's also got a layer of protection and there's less spread that way, maybe?
Maybe, but I'm just saying as far as working in the parks, eventually the masks are coming off in the parks, probably sooner than later. So how does it work with the people who are working that don't have a vaccine? They still got to wear the mask?
I believe.
I don't know. I think it's just, it seems like it's just overly cautious. They're putting these in, but it's just more of a public thing. Showing the public that they're doing all these safety things when, I don't know, the grand scheme of things.
I'm just going to flat out say it. If I were them, it would be vaccinations only.
As I said, I'm kind of surprised they're not just requiring it, but I also think that if there's that deadline set that you have to be fully vaccinated before you arrive, they would lose some of their participants who maybe aren't able to get a second dose in time or can't complete the 2 weeks after the second dose before they're expected to start. Because if they're looking at that mid-June, I said mid-June, right? That mid-June refresh or reboot date, then I'm thinking maybe it's just a matter of scheduling at this point because we are rather late into May at this point.
Yeah, and then I would just make sure they should have some stations available. They should set some up. So the people that show up that either need the second one or want to get it going can get it go. They can help them out.
And I feel like I read articles where they were doing that. They were providing stations and clinics for cast member vaccinations.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got next?
Next up on our quick mentions, all relaxation stations have been removed from Disney's Magic Kingdom Park just days before Disney CEO Bob Chapek offers details on raising capacity at the parks. While Chapek wants nothing more than to see the revenues return to post-COVID marks, he addresses the need to increase park capacity safely and responsibly. While Disney is encouraged by recent CDC guideline updates, he noted that the consumer won't likely start to see the benefits of these relaxed guidelines until July to September timeline, possibly even later. Monday's announcement that Web Slingers, a Spider-Man adventure, would be utilizing a similar system to the virtual queuing program that Rise of the Resistance uses. Chapek also stated that Disney's Park Pass system, as well as all virtual queues, to stick around post-pandemic.
I gave Chapek the applause.
And two more shorter quick updates, or quick mentions, I should say. Construction begins in Disneyland and is hidden by a giant blue wall with a sign stating, "What big building? There's no big building here," for the new Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Due to delays from COVID closure, the ride is now slated to be completed sometime in 2023. So guests attending the parks have been putting pictures up on social media, and they have confirmed that while there is no big building there, that's what's going to be in the big building that's not there. And finally,
I just want to quickly say they just make zero attempt anymore at like being subtle about anything. I think it's like, oh, let's play the whole, not be subtle. And it's so funny because yeah, there's something to see here, but obviously this is awkward, like Mickey and Minnie's or the Guardians of the Galaxy building that's just completely ridiculous and unhidden.
It did say at the bottom of the sign, it was that the sign was property of like the Toontown, super obvious. Like I forget the exact wording on it, but it was meant to be very obviously it was a big building.
They need to shape up though, because like we were on the where did we go? We were driving on Disney property, and you can see the backside of Galaxy's Edge on some of the fake mountains. You can see like too much behind the scenes that would never ever have happened like in years, if you go back 10, 20 years and beyond. It's like Disney, you just need
those new lands are in the space that hid the park from the rest of the world. So they've expanded and taken away that buffer.
Yep. They don't care anymore. Johnny and I talked about this last time. They don't care.
Yeah.
No.
Just take it and deal with it.
Even with you saying with Galaxy's Edge, they can't even use the excuse that that it's a working studio because they've abandoned that. So you're not even getting, the backlot's gone now. So they should have just, they don't care.
Stop it.
Anyway.
And her last very quick and unfortunate mention, Samuel E. Wright, the voice of Sebastian in the animated classic, The Little Mermaid, has passed at age 74. So lots of tributes and people posting on social media, remembering the voice actor and their love of the life that he brought to Sebastian.
Yeah, I read that. I think it was yesterday. Mm-hmm. Don't know much about him, but did an awesome job with Sebastian. I know that.
Wasn't he Mufasa too in Broadway?
Was he?
I think I read that too.
Yeah, he had a pretty good resume.
No, Johnny's. So you're thinking he was Mufasa in the live Broadway?
That's what he said. There was Mufasa in Broadway.
I didn't know that.
If I can confirm.
Do we have an IMDb credit for this character?
He was. That's not going to be on IMDb.
If you type his name in, it should pop up on there.
Right here. Also worked on Broadway, earning a Tony nomination as Mufasa in the original cast of The Lion King.
All right, snaps for you.
All right, Johnny has spoken.
There's a picture.
I got you.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
All right, next up, what do we got?
Two very brief updates. We do have more characters returning to the parks. Most recently, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers have been spotted greeting guests at Disney's Hollywood Studios. And then joining the ranks of attractions relaxing or reducing their physical guidance markers, Slinky Dog Dash, Toy Story Mania, and Muppet Vision 3D add to the list that we've discussed in the past.
You want characters, you're going to get characters. But they're coming, I heard, they're going to put the masks on, of course.
Right.
Well, you're going to have the mask on, at least at first.
Right.
That sounded stupid. Obviously, they have a mask on, but you're going to have to wear a mask.
I'm very curious because we're seeing. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, although maybe that won't be that long until that's not a thing anymore. I don't know.
We may touch base on that in a moment. I'm wondering, we're seeing more and more characters come back, if we're going to start seeing like meet and greets come back in a phased approach, if we're going to see like people go up for pictures and autographs and not just those, you know, socially distanced photo ops like we're used to seeing at the moment, or like Pooh or Joy running around in the gardens in Epcot. Like, I'm just wondering if that's going to start to come back as we get more and more characters to kind of pull those crowds.
Yeah, we got to get Gisela and Anastasia back. They got to be roaming around Fantasyland. It's just not the same, man. It's not the same.
I have to say, we've only encountered them once with the children, and it was by far one of my favorite experiences. They were spot on.
Yeah, they're pretty hilarious, actually. I mean, for what it is.
And then I think we saw them this past summer when Johnny and I went by ourselves. They were on the castle doing a very socially distanced bit, and it was still entertaining, but
yeah, that makes sense. I didn't think about it. They probably have been doing that. Yeah. Okay. So what do we got next?
All right. So the first of our more headlines, Disneyland announced some updated dates for us. So June 4th for Disneyland and Disneyland California Adventure. June 4th sees the opening of the new land of Avengers Campus. Well, I can't talk today. The reopening of Paradise Pier Hotel will begin on June 15th, and Disneyland Hotel reopening July 2nd, firming up some dates. Also, the bigger news out of this is that guests from out of state may return to Disneyland on June 15th. So previously, only California residents have been able to attend at this point, but starting on the 15th, out of state guests may return. So until then, all guests visiting Disneyland must be California residents visiting in groups no larger than 3 households. And additionally, the state of California strongly recommends all guests be fully vaccinated or obtain a negative COVID test prior to entering the theme parks. And then the last updated date that they gave us is the park reservation system that's in place for Disneyland and California Adventure. The booking window for theme park reservations has been expanded out to 120 days. So I think I read previously the park pass reservation system was only 60 days. They're expanding it out the 120 days now that they're also allowing out-of-state visitors back into the parks.
That's by far my most favorite regulation I've heard so far during this whole thing. You can come, but only 3 households worth of people can come together.
No larger. Well, I think they're looking.
Who even comes up with this?
That contact tracing, they're reducing. They said pick your 10 people. That's your bubble. That's your contact list. If you've been in touch with them, I think they're just trying to keep.
I get it.
Exposure. Yeah, it's just funny that
it's so random.
Not in Florida. When Florida reopened, I mean, it wasn't like bedlam, absolute chaos or anything, but like there was no specifications on that. No. There was no like only Florida residents at first. Like it was just.
California's been a little weird, but whatever. You gotta do what you think is best, I guess. But
well, California's just different with more. Like the residents, I think, are still trying to get in there of California that couldn't get in. Like there's just so many more local people trying to get in, and then now they're adding everybody else. So it's, I don't know, it just seems much. I think it's going to be much busier than Disney World was at first.
Yeah, I mean,
it's been closed long. People have just been away, and like I don't know.
There's only 2 parks to spread the guests out versus
like
4.
Even like you said, that they're expanded to the 120. Where is Disney still at Disney World still at 60, right? They haven't even expanded anything, so it's just.
Yeah.
I think they're just expecting a bigger rush, especially opening it up now.
It's just funny to me because it's like, don't come with more than 3 households. And in other news, Disney World is just loading random people into a gondola.
Right.
So like, what does it matter anymore?
Yeah. But how do you enforce 3 houses? Like how do you?
I don't know. The whole country is about.
All you got to do is say no.
Up.
We're only 3 households. You could have 10 houses. Nobody knows.
I could have 16 people living in each house. I got 48 people. All right, here we are.
So if you're part of a 3 tenement house, like you live on one floor, does that count as a different household than who lives on the first floor? Or technically it's the same street address?
Oh my God.
It's a house. One house.
Household.
I don't know.
I'm giving it to. I'm not. It's silly. I'm giving this to California on this one. All right. Anyway.
And then, in related news, according to California state guidelines,
here we go.
Disneyland could reopen at full capacity. There is a caveat. So under the regulations...
I'm going to hit it.
Under the regulations put forth by the state of California, Disneyland and Disney California Adventure could end capacity limits on social distancing beginning as early as next month, which is coincidentally when they're also allowing guests from out of state. The new policy outlined would categorize theme parks as a mega event, which means they could reopen at full capacity if they verified vaccines or tests of visitors. If Disneyland and Disneyland California Adventure comply with this, if they fall under that category and choose to comply, officials could potentially lift attendance limitations and physical distancing requirements, which are currently in place when Governor Gavin Newsom's blueprint for a safer economy is scheduled to be revealed on June 15th. So parks will, quote, update their own safe and responsible plans for operation based on state and local guidelines, end quote. Meanwhile, Disney execs have stated they will be basing their reopening decisions on local and national guidelines, but will differ in their policies if they feel relaxing restrictions is not in the best interest of guests or cast members. So this new blueprint does not specifically mention theme parks within its guidelines, though many are speculating it would fall under the category of a mega event, which would be like a sporting event, a concert, a convention, conferences, but it doesn't specifically say theme parks. I think because it's event, it seems like it's like a one, like maybe an isolated or two or three things. So it's not specifically putting out theme parks under this category. Additionally, should Disneyland and California Adventure align to this policy and they adhere to it, proof of vaccination and negative COVID tests would be required, meaning they would need to put new systems in place in order to meet these conditions. If that's something, and I know we've kind of had our own separate discussions about this, and it's kind of been brought up as more things open up about the, same guidelines in Florida as well. I mean, if they're going to require proof of vaccination or proof of negative tests, I feel like Florida would have already kind of piloted that since Florida's been open since last summer. So I kind of feel like I doubt they're going this route, but under this new blueprint that's about to be proposed next month, potentially, if they agree with this, they could require it as an entry into the parks and resorts. But I don't know how they would enforce that, because if you get a negative test and then you travel to get there, you've been exposed to other things and you could potentially have contracted it then. So I don't know. There's a lot of logistics there. There's a lot of potential for disaster. And I don't know that Disney is a company willing to open them up to that at this point.
Disney's sitting there just doing the same thing I'm doing right now. They want to open. They're done with this. There've been several times that they clashed heads with the California government already over this. And a few months ago, I would have been kind of in the middle. And now I'm kind of like all full bore and just open it. Like I went to Disney a week and a half ago and I sat in an airplane shoulder to shoulder with people. As we speak right now, someone's in a gondola.
Right, and I forgot to mention
families are in a gondola coughing and sneezing on each other. It's like
I was just about to say, someone reported they are loading multiple families or multiple parties on the gondolas in the Skyliner.
So it's like, can it be that worse, much worse out there than in California as in Florida? If you look at the maps, there's barely any red spots anywhere in the country anymore. Half of adults are fully half the American adult population is fully vaccinated. It's like, time to just start peeling them back. Get these people, let these people go back to their jobs and all that good stuff.
I'm just wondering if they abide by this, how they enforce it.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to.
It's too much of a hassle. I don't think they're going to abide by that. It's just
right. And we talked about that when they started talking about the masks and being optional in those common areas. And I said, well, when you register your Magic Band or you register your My Disney Experience account, it's optional for people who are and who want to share that information. But then how does that information get relayed to cast members? How would you note that on a guest as they walk throughout the park?
How often is either of the parks in Florida or California ever at 100% capacity anyway. So maybe around Christmas, the 4th of July,
Christmas it maxes out.
Those times, but the rest of the why go through the hassle of implementing all new stuff when you just reopened, and just leave it as it is, and you're getting people to go, and whatever. It'll soon enough, it'll just happen anyway. So
what was that date? June 15th? Yeah,
Yep.
it's all going to be open after that. So they got to get everybody in there so they can give them that upcharge for the new Spider-Man ride. I don't know if anybody saw that. That's absolutely ridiculous.
So you can get a few extra multiple shots or whatever it was to pay it.
And people are going to buy it just to go on a ride and get a couple extra shots.
Yeah, I think I'll just stick to, I wouldn't pay extra money so I could get, and in Toy Story Mania, so instead of one dart ball, whatever, so 3 come out, and why would you, what is it? It's a game.
Why would you care that much?
Yeah, that's,
I don't know.
Y'all are too competitive.
But
Jeez.
people will pay because it's something they can wear and have, and it's their own thing.
They can do that, and then they can go get $100 sandwich at the cafeteria.
Yep.
I'd rather save my money and buy a lightsaber.
I'd rather save my money and get the $100 sandwich or a lightsaber,
But not both.
or another day in the park for that price.
Yeah, right.
I'm with you right there.
Jesus. What's up, guys? It's Tim. Just here to remind you to check out our new website, quickdiztakes.com. We cover everything Disney, from our newest videos to our newest podcast, blog posts by contributors, and much more. And while you're there, do not forget to subscribe for the latest notifications on when new blog posts are posted and new videos go up. Of course, check out our YouTube page, Quick Diz Takes, and our Facebook page, Quick Diz Takes, along with Twitter at Quick Diz Takes for me, and at Palm Tree Skook for Sarah, Instagram at Quick Diz Takes Tim, and at Quick Diz Skook. And of course, if you like this, please like, share, and subscribe with friends. Thanks for listening, and now back to the show.
So that's our big news. Disneyland's making waves over there, making its way out to the East Coast.
All right, well, that's good because we're running out of time anyway. And
Did it.
if we continue to talk about the Web Slingers add-on, Angry Tim's just going to come out. So there's no point of that. Because that is, when I heard that, I was like, all right, these people just don't stop.
They gotta make up that money somehow, every possible way.
And they're doing the virtual queue, which is another thing I wanted to mention.
People were mad about that too.
They need to stop with the virtual queues. They're awful. Bad. Especially the newest system's horrible. I was thinking about it after I got home. I was like, all right, so 7 o'clock, everyone's going for it. How do you not need a reservation attached to a ticket to your app to be eligible to get that boarding pass? And then if you do have the reservation for that day, how does someone that's going to park up from another park later on get an equal shot at the 1 o'clock drawing? It doesn't make any sense. And imagine being the person we talked about before that came over from, not right now really, but that's come from a far place, or it might be the only trip, and that's one of the most appealing things to them is to see that ride. And you can't get on it. It's just dumb. It's dumb. I don't get it. They can't get everybody on that ride at 35% capacity. They can't get everybody on that ride. You know what they're doing right now, right?
Well, it's been broken down. It's been broken down multiple days, like the past week.
That's true too.
So
that's the other part about it.
Not reliable.
Yeah.
So high tech, they can't figure out how to fix it?
I tell you what they can figure out how to do though. Shove random families into gondolas together and send them on their way.
Well, someone was saying they took the poly. I need a nap. They took the plexiglass dividers out and they're loading multiple parties. So why aren't they? I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Well, when I read they went to that level, and I don't even care they did. But when I read that, I'm like, it's it. It's over. Everyone needs to just go about their business now.
Mm-hmm.
We waited for a bus. I didn't even dawn on me that they're doing capacity on the buses. The bus comes, we waited 30 minutes for it. It loads half and takes off and leaves me in line for another half hour. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And now they're shoving, but a week later, they're shoving people into a gondola.
Well, I
At
think
least
I saw today that Universal
They're literally pushing them in.
Universal took the dividers off their buses, so it's got to be coming soon to Disney. One does and the other does it, so
You got to figure.
When I read
think
they were
about it.
putting multiple
Wow.
parties in the gondolas, I was just thinking about when we went at Christmas and it took us forever to get in a gondola because they weren't making people get off and then get back on. And so people who were staying at Riviera, because people was at Caribbean Beach, they were coming from the other stops. You're paying all this extra money to be at the Riviera.
Yeah, that one.
You couldn't even get in the gondola.
Sense. You're
But
loading
if they're
up
just shoving people up.
You're loading up full capacity at Caribbean Beach and it's bypassing Riviera.
That makes absolutely zero sense.
It was like literally once every maybe 7 to 10 gondolas you could load into, and you had a big line at the Riviera where people are paying either big buck out of pocket to stay at a DVC resort, or people paid into DVC. They should have some sort of
you get off as you enter.
You're one stop away from Epcot, and it's like, I don't know. Well, maybe now they'll load one family at Caribbean Beach and let another family go in.
Why didn't they just, when people came into, you know how when you come in from Hollywood Studios to Caribbean Beach and then you got to switch to go to the Epcot one that goes to the Riviera?
Mm-hmm.
Why not just load every other one there? And then when it gets,
that's what I said.
That's what we said that day.
People on there.
That's especially what I said.
Because we figured that day we went to Riviera for breakfast and then figured, okay, I'll just jump and go over to Epcot. We ended up not making it for opening at Epcot. We were like 20 minutes late.
Yeah.
And we left it playing.
And then I mean, we weren't even staying at Riviera. Like he said, we just went for breakfast, and I was mad for the people at Riviera.
Yeah.
I was like, this is absurd.
That's what I said. Just load every other, and then it's fine.
It makes sense.
I was like, listen, I mean, I'm not an exec here. I don't get paid big bucks to analyze this, but every other would work. And he's like,
Yep.
It's crazy. Disney transportation's terrible anyway.
Or if they didn't load every other car, if they made them get off, get in line, and then load in that order. So it's a little annoying to get off and then just get right back on, but at least it's fair to the people who were at Riviera waiting.
Every other is not a big deal anyway. That would move fast. I think it moves fast. We got on it. It was like a line all the way out to where the buses were at Hollywood Studios, and we got in. I was on a gondola in like 10, 15 minutes, and that's with them. That's with them just loading one party at a time. Mm-hmm. So could have done it. That's dumb. That and the buses are dumb. That was dumb. I kind of get it, but it's like you gotta be a little bit better than like
plus they have
two of them coming in at once or something.
Plus they have all the extra buses from the resorts still aren't open, so they should be the buses, but last day at the Grand Floridian they were bad too that day.
It's like, oh, the next bus will arrive shortly. False. Yeah. I'm like, no, they're not. That is the most ridiculous thing I ever heard in my life.
Those screens are useless because they changed. Next bus, 10 minutes. And then you look up again, now it says 15 minutes. And you look up again, it says 25 minutes.
And that's even worse because now you're going to get me going on this because my wife off camera knows I hate this. I would rather have them say 55 minutes and get here in 55 minutes and say 10 minutes, then 15 minutes, then 20 minutes. Yeah. And then 7 hours have gone by.
Yep.
And then, the next one's going to be by shortly. What's shortly mean? To you, shortly is like an hour. I'm going to get on it, get to the park, get reservations, going to do this, going to do that.
Just get rid of those things.
Terrible. Either that or even more accurate.
When we stayed at Contemporary over the summer, and the line for Hollywood Studios, that bus. No, we were going to, was it Epcot? And the line, about 9 buses came by for a park that we weren't going to, and just nobody came for us.
They should be high speed right now, just connecting every single gondola to every single park and every single resort and just going that way.
They should. Because they still won't even open up the monorail from Magic Kingdom to Epcot.
I know. Either. I learned that lesson the hard way too. Here I am, Mr. Fancy Pants with his Epcot resort. Yeah. I can't get to Epcot.
Yeah.
I got to go take a bus for the other plebeians.
Yep.
Big word.
I appreciated your big word.
It's not like that stupid monorail has to be open all day. Just at 1:00 it opens up when park hopping is bad.
I want to know what the reasoning is, though. You got buses running, you got people getting stuffed in gondolas. You can't get on a monorail at Epcot. Why? Doesn't make any sense. And they don't even have the minivans running either, right?
Nope.
because they couldn't.
And the trams, you still can't. If you park, you still can't ride a tram in. You still have to walk in. They're just sitting in the parking lot. Those still won't load either.
For what you pay to go on a Disney trip, everyone want to have their own little dark SUV waiting for them outside their room whenever I want to go anywhere on the property. That's what should happen. Not these buses that hoard us in like cattle and show up everywhere once every 45 minutes to hour and a half. I'm telling you, we stood at Caribbean Beach. I can't prove this, but I'm pretty sure because we were like 7 stops in, they were just filling up the Magic Kingdom bus by stop 5 and just like I could see them driving by, like yeah, like laughing at me. I'm telling you, it was going on.
Well, we noticed that when you stay at the Valley Resorts, your stop is always it's like stop 30. It's like the furthest down and it's all the way. So we were excited that we were at the Contemporary thing and all right, we got decent bus stops. Nope. At this point, now the Valley Resorts were closest and the nicest. I'm like, oh, how is it we're always the very last corral of buses?
And even when we stayed at Old Key West, we were far enough away with, you know, there's bus stops within Key West. You're better off just walking to just instead of standing there, just take the time to walk because you're gonna be standing at a bus stop anyway. Just walk to the main entrance and get on the bus. Yeah,
same thing happened to us at
because in that
Saratoga.
Oh yeah, there's multiple. Just go walk to the main stop because you're gonna waste time either way. So
those resorts are obnoxiously big. First of all,
yeah,
there's like I don't know how many stops are in each resort, like 10.
It's a lot.
So if it's a morning time and everyone's heading out to the parks, like what are the odds that if you're stop number 9, that bus is not going to be full
by
the time it comes to get you?
That's like, what is it, Fort Wilderness? They tell you to rent the golf cart to get to the bus stops. I'm like, can you just leave your golf cart at the bus stop all day?
You rent the golf cart?
Yeah, you have to rent those golf carts, and then you can drive them. You can drive them up to like the boat launches and park at the boat launches and stuff. Yeah, you got to rent those things.
That's shiesty. I'd rent one of those things to drive it right to the main gate, Magic Kingdom, and leave it right here. Back when I'm done. That'd be awesome. It's not that far either.
Oh no, we've given him ideas, Johnny.
Yeah, you just throw the keys at a cast member, park it.
Could be like the episode of The Office. Michael just throws the keys.
I'm trying to digest this for a second though. So our transportation system is inefficient. So what we're going to do for you, we're going to help you out. You pay us. We'll give you another piece of inefficient transportation, and you can drive that over and you can leave it there. We'll take care of it for you. And
I don't know if they let you leave it there. I'm just saying, you drive it there and then what? You can't.
No, you can leave it. You can't.
You can leave it at like the boat launches and stuff. I know there's parking.
Yeah, but I'm talking about people who would drive to the bus stops because they were so far away from the bus stops to catch the buses into the parks.
I would never stay at Fort Wilderness just knowing that now. That's absolutely ridiculous. You rent a golf cart to get you get on the golf cart and you ride to get to where you want to get the ride. Than to go on rides. It's just ride. It's ride all day.
Or you stand there and wait at bus stop number 10. Either way.
And never get on the bus because it's always full. Or you get there like 3 hours after park opening.
I can't. Yeah, that got me. The bus with the COVID thing got me. When everyone's loading on and we just get to the front, we stop. It's like, yeah, the next one will be here shortly. I'm like, we just waited 35 minutes for this one, and it took another 35 minutes for the other one to come. It doesn't make sense to me though. You think from the park to park ones would loop around pretty, they could stay on a decent schedule, right? Because
they're
just going back and forth. And I mean, Animal Kingdom's like, I had my father drop me off with GPS. It was a 3-mile drive.
Yeah, I don't know.
How can we not? I don't know. All right, enough of this. I'm going.
Grumpy Tim came out. Sorry.
Yeah, Angry Tim came out a little bit. Yeah.
And that's why we're renting in July, August. When the heck we're going? We're renting a car. I'll drive myself. That line? Nope.
You can rent a car from Disney and they'll drive you to the stop and you can get the bus.
Yeah. Well, if I want to drive to the Magic Kingdom, I got to drive to the TTC. Then I got to get on a monorail bus or boat to get this stuff. So
you just made me think of one more thing that made me so aggravated on my trip this past time. So I got a cab and I know better that they want to drop you off at the TTC. I hate that.
Yeah.
I despise it.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is I always say, just go to. I'm glad my dog's going nuts in the background, by the way. I always tell them, bring me to the Polynesian. I'm not the Polynesian, the Contemporary. And I tell the driver, I'm like, whatever you do, just tell him I'm a guest that you're dropping off. Don't say that you're dropping me off the Magic Kingdom. What's he do? Tells the girl, I'm dropping them off at the Magic Kingdom. She's like, oh, you can't do that. You got to turn around and go back to the TTC. My aunt got all embarrassed. I looked at her. I was like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. She's like, just kind of gave us a dirty look. Kept going. It's so stupid. So he turned around. I'm like, wait a minute. He's like, what? I gave him the money. I just got out in the middle of the street. We got out in the middle of the street, just walked. I'm like, that is the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. That's stupid.
Really stupid.
TTC rule is dumb. Carrie knows, like her and I would always do it. They just drop us off right there at the Contemporary, like in the corner. You just walk in.
Yeah.
Why do I want to get on a monorail? How do I even know the monorail's operating? It doesn't even operate half the time right now. And how do I know you're not going to rent me a golf cart when I get there? I have to go drive to the next. I can't get over that, by the way. Like, how do they pitch that? Hey, rent these. We'll get you there. I mean, you could purposely make stations just miles away from the hotel rooms to make a fortune. All right, we're going to get out of here because Carrie's getting all weird trying to sneak through the camera without being seen. Next week, they'll be doing, who knows, they'll be letting kids lick the honey and the honey thing in the Winnie the Pooh line, but they won't be letting you like do something else that makes no sense in California. And Disneyland will continue to they'll elevate their restrictions again or something. Who knows? I keep looking at that stuff and I'm like, I don't understand the Disneyland stuff because that park must be struggling to get open. Like they must be dying to really get open. Just let them do it.
You have a model in Florida that worked. Why are we not just doing what they did?
I know it's like I don't know, 100 times the size.
Give up.
And 4 times and 3, double the parks.
Yeah.
And they got water parks going on. People are swimming in pools, splashing each other, getting in gondolas. I don't get it. I don't know. Whatever. All right.
We need to go. Your face matches your shirt right now.
Tune in for next week when we discuss strategies, the best strategy to save money on renting golf carts to ride to your bus stop. That is so ridiculous. All right, we're out of here. We'll see you guys next week.